Today's guest, we've got Joe Nelson. Joe, how's it going?
Very good, very good.
Right, let's first of all address the elephant in the room, and that is, you're quite young.
Yes.
How old exactly are you?
17 and a bit.
And how long have you been wrestling professionally?
Too long. Since April 2012, which will make 8 years in April.
So
since training.
So since training, what was the age that you debuted then?
We did training shows for a long time, because obviously I was 10 years of age. So it was September 2012 that I did my first training show. And then I guess 15, 16, I guess. But yeah, training shows we'd do once every few months. September 2012, so I was 11, kind of.
So all in all, you've been wrestling for 7 years? And
yeah, 7 coming to 8. Yeah.
And you're only 17?
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. This is going to make me feel ridiculously old, but growing up, who are your favourite wrestlers? Who are your biggest influences?
Rey Mysterio has always been the man. I think that was the first guy that I saw that was whoa, he's cool, So yeah, probably Rey Mysterio.
Were you into the cruiserweights then?
Oh yeah, big time. It was always the cruiserweight stuff, the Rey Mysterio matches and stuff like that. And then when I kind of understood what wrestling was, watching the WCW cruiserweights was just the coolest thing ever for me. When I understood what wrestling was, getting older and knew what WCW was,
So you've been wrestling since you were 10.
Yeah.
How difficult has it been growing up in wrestling? Because obviously you've not led a normal childhood that most people will have had. Has it been difficult balancing wrestling with growing up?
Yeah and no. It's matured me a lot. People will always say you're not 17. You know what I mean? But no, it's been somewhat normal and somewhat just completely different, especially in the recent years of being as busy as I have been, being able to balance that with college. And when I finish in a couple of months, I'll be kind of proud of myself for balancing college and wrestling at the same time, But yeah, it's been different, but I wouldn't change it,
Has it had an adverse effects on your social life, growing up?
Yeah and no. If there was someone to be dropping out of plans, it was me, But it's not really changed too much, to my knowledge, apart from just not really being able to do as much with friends as what the other group are doing, So yeah and no, it's been different, but been good.
So you started training at 10. How did you first get into that then?
It was a free open day thing, and I was the only person to turn up. So I was so close to legit. I was the only person to turn up, and I was so close to feeling so awkward of leaving. So my first day of wrestling, I could have just left and maybe never done it again. So yeah, we just saw a flyer in some shop, and I was oh, I like wrestling, come and go do that. And yeah, I was the only person to turn up, and nearly left on my first day because I felt really awkward that it was just me, but I stuck to it, and just here we are,
Where was some of the other places that you trained?
So I started off at UKW in 2012, and I was there for a long time because just of how young I was. Then trained at NGW, Hope, Future Shock, Grapple, as the main places I've been to, and then I've just been to seminars and other places like Fighting Spirit, on and off when I've been able to, But for the main places, started at UKW, went to Grapple, went to Hope, that turned into NGW, and then now Future Shock.
How important do you think it is for young wrestlers to get a different varied training regime, going to different places?
Very, because there's only so much that one person can teach you. And even if you've got a very reputable trainer, you're going to get a long way with them, but if you're not getting input from other people in wrestling that have also done good stuff and are very reputable, then you're only going to get to this point. But if you've got other people chiming in and giving advice here, then you're going to go from there to there, So it's, in my opinion, one of the most important things on any wrestler's development ever, And it doesn't stop. And if you stop learning, then something's going wrong,
I think it'd be fair to say that 2019 was somewhat of a breakout year for yourself.
Yeah.
Places like Attack Pro Wrestling, where you tagged with the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy your time at Attack last year?
That was great. I loved it. Like, the first time I got on Attack was just, I came and helped, and then guys like Lykos were there who pushed me for me, and I got on there in like a scramble, and that was just as me, like with no Lost Boys gimmick. And they really liked me because I knew like a lot of people there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we want to use you more." But obviously, Attack's very like character based, and that's something that still now I don't really have as Joe Nelson, you know. But they were like, "Oh yeah, we've got Rufio and Fraser Thomas, so have the Lost Boys character," and we did that for like 6 months, and it was great. Not a bad word to say about them. They're both great, so I really enjoyed it. It was really fun.
You mentioned Lykos.
Yes.
Obviously, Shouting Freud and Friends, you became somewhat of a regular on their shows last year.
Yeah.
And recently, you've started to don the mask as Lykos too.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
Oh man, it's been a thing for like a while, like in the works and in the plans, and then finally bringing it to fruition like a month ago, which seems weird because it felt like it's been so long. It was cool. It was cool. It was a very stressful day, like, because it was so different to anything that I was used to. And I think it was like a big target on my back as well, of like, because there's 100 guys who are also young and really good at wrestling who could have, you know, like filled the boots, and for them to choose me as like the first guy they thought of and the first guy to like confirm to do it. It was nice. It was just weird that someone like the level that Lykos was at was like, yeah, have this, you know. But yeah, it's all been real surreal, and like even the fact that it was only just over a month ago that it debuted, it's felt like it's, you know, been a thing for a long time.
Is Lykos 2 strictly reserved for Shouting Freud and Friends? Or
oh no, not at all. No,
Attack, or are we going to be seeing a lot more of Lykos
wherever,
2 in other organisations?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm still Joe Nelson here, and I'm still Lykos 2 here. So, no, it's not. I'm only going to work as Lykos here. No, it's just anywhere.
Another place where you had a pretty good year was Breed Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Where you've won the New Breed Championship. You got to defend that in a cave against one of your best mates.
That was the coldest experience of my life.
How was that day?
Oh man, like, I don't know, like, the idea was sick. Like, oh yeah man, we're gonna wrestle in the cave. And then we got there and it was leaking everywhere, and I was freezing my tits off, and I wasn't very happy. So the match itself was great, because JJ is really good at wrestling, and I like wrestling him. But just being there wasn't fun, you know, like, yeah, it was just cold. I've never got back from a match and put a hoodie and coat on immediately before even taking my gear off.
I mean, I was just in the crowd, and everybody in the crowd were getting drips on them. I think if the original date, which was like a month earlier, it wouldn't have been as bad.
Yeah, I think even just being a cave wouldn't have... It wasn't going to be nice either way, you know. But yeah, I couldn't imagine just sitting there watching, like... I did 20 minutes of running around and I was still freezing, so I don't know how you did that. But no, it was cool. I enjoyed it, but I don't know how much, if I want to do it again or not.
How good does it feel that Breed have give you that trust to like push you as their face cool. for the next generation coming through?
Oh, it's the best, like, because they gave me that. Breed kicked off big, you know, so that just having a promotion go, here we want you to be our champion, is cool in itself. But for the hype that Breed got, and then they still wanted me to be their champion, it was real cool. And the matches that I got to do there were like fun, you know, like they put me in there with like Gabriel Kidd, which is still one of my favourite matches that I've done, like OJMO, loads of other guys that I've forgotten because it feels like it was ages ago. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun there, and I'm very happy with that because I get to beat up Ethan Allen, Luke Jacobs and Thelwell. Well, no, I'm going to beat Thelwell up.
I think they're all going to beat Thelwell up.
Usually what happens.
Talk about where we are today, Tidal. I'd imagine that was probably one of the highlights of your 2019, winning the Tidal Championship wrestling title in a match that you weren't even originally supposed to be in, I believe.
Well, so like, it was, if I remember, it was supposed to be like a 5-way, but Sean only was injured. So I was always meant to be in it as like the surprise, but it was meant to be a 5-way, and Sean only was hurt. and then it just got put down to a 4-way. So yeah, it was still last minute, but yeah, it was just wild, you know, like turning up as like the surprise, and then that pop, and the photo of like you guys fucking in the crowd is still, I think, the coolest photo of like in my wrestling career, because that reaction wasn't what I was expecting at all. Like I was like, oh yeah, this would be cool, and then it happened. I remember I was just like pinned him. I was like sat in the corner. I was like, shit, that was cool. Like, yeah, it was surreal. Still like probably one of like the coolest. Yeah, it was the coolest reaction I've received.
Yeah, I remember watching it back on Twitter. I think somebody put the actual moment that you won the title, and considering I think that place only holds roughly about 80 or 100 people.
If there's 100 people there, it's cramped, you know, and for those 80 to 100 people to feel like genuine emotion from something that I did is insane.
Well, you've obviously got like quite a cynical set of sparky so-and-sos in the crowd, myself included, and I don't think anyone saw you winning that night, so it was great that somebody managed to elicit that type of reaction from a crowd.
Oh, it was insane, especially like pinning Brady Phillips as well, because that's kind of a story that I think we kind of developed ourselves, you know, like on my Tidal debut I wrestled him.
Didn't you wrestle him when Jack Sexsmith was supposed to wrestle him?
Yes, so like my Tidal debut, which was like 2017, it was in church either way, I don't remember when. We wrestled and it was real good, and then I wasn't in Tidal for like a year, and then I wrestled him on one of like the surprise shows they did. I forget the name. It was a funny word. What was it called? Befuddled or something. That was the funny word. And that was like another surprise. So we wrestled there, and then replaced Sexsmith and had like another one of my favourite matches. And that was on the day. Like I wasn't on the show. And we just kept on having these matches, and it kept on, like, in my opinion, getting better and better. And it was kind of a story that people couldn't ignore, and Ian couldn't really ignore either, of being like, you know, Joe Nelson and Brady Phillips in Tidal is like one of the matches that is kind of like a bookmark in 2019 for me, of like, yeah, every time we wrestle it's great, and he's so good. Like, he's one of my favourite opponents. I think he's ridiculously underrated. So being able to like pin Brady and I guess either like end the story or even elevate the story even more, just, yeah, it made it cool.
Alright, what I'm going to do now is a quick word association game.
Oh, God.
I'm going to throw some names at you, and I want you to say the first things that come into your head.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. Kid Lykos.
Love him.
Chris Brooks.
Love him.
Rufio.
Love him. So funny.
Fraser Thomas.
Yeah, love him.
JJ Barker.
Dickhead. No, love him.
Dean Allmark.
One of the best.
Mad Kurt.
I want to fight him so bad.
Big Guns Joe.
I love him too much, I think.
Chris Ridgway.
Yeah, he's the best.
Rampage Brown.
Terrifying but incredible.
Tom Felwell.
I can't wait to beat him up.
Lee Jacobs.
Love him.
Ethan Allen.
Little shit. He's sat next to me, so yeah. No, I love him. Sometimes.
Kip Sabian.
Miss him.
Breed Pro Wrestling.
Real fun.
Attack.
One of my favourite places on earth.
Tidal.
Another one of my favourite places.
Schadenfreude and Friends.
The coolest thing that's maybe happened to me.
Last one, Joe Nelson.
Still living a surreal life.
Where do you see yourself this time next year?
Still doing what I'm doing, hopefully. If I can continue to be as busy as what I am at the minute, then I'm going to be very happy. And things might happen, things might not happen. I've never been one to expect anything. I want stuff, but like I'm not expecting anything. And the fact that I've been this busy in the places that I have been in the last year have been very cool for me. So if I can keep doing this, I'll be very happy.
Well, I think that 2020 is going to eclipse 2019 for you.
That'd be nice.
Joe, thank you very much for your time, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.